So, okay, so it doesn't, we're going to have to defer the minutes to the committee because we don't have a majority of all members that were present there to make that vote. So I think we have the ability to do that at the next meeting, given who was there. Paul, Amasha, Albert, Richard, we may have, we should. So, we'll, I think, defer that to the next meeting. All right. Okay. For the preliminary audit discussion, we have Chris from the Testing Company to do a presentation. And this is for the CRC and the IDA. It's a preliminary presentation. I think I might have come under it.
I'm Chris Stevens. I'm the Testing Audit Manager of the Testing Company. We are engaged in the Industrial Development Authority and Hawaii County Resource Corporation. With one presentation, so both boards, one committees are the same. This presentation just allows us to touch base with you, let you know, essentially what the scope of the audit is, timing of the audit, what our responsibilities as auditors is, and what the responsibilities of management are. Touch base on some changes under professional standards that come down the pipe as well. Just to be aware of those items. The scope of our services in 2019, we will be doing a financial statement audit of all organizations, and we will also assist management with the preparation of the financial statements. We will need to submit to New York State, or the New York State Affairs report. Our responsibility as other auditors, it tends to be some of the education we have to make. Years we have an audit done. We will expect that to be more than the next year does. An audit is a test by sampling, so we don't look at every transaction that the organizations are taking here. Risk assess and make our select our samples and things that we look at based on what our risk assessments are. Our responsibility is to form an opinion on whether the financial statements present fairly in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. It doesn't mean an absolute assurance the financial statements of service stated. It's going to be a reasonable assurance that are fairly stated. We do consider the internal control as a basis for designing audit procedures. We're not going to audit your internal control or issue an opinion on it. However, when it comes to our attention during the audit, we need to be aware of what indicate that to you at that time. Any other matters that come up during the audit, if the client's issue with a law or regulation or anything like that, we also communicate those to you as well. Management's responsibility. Management is responsible for financial statements. We will assist them in preparing them, but management has to be required to review and take responsibility for those financial statements prior to their issuance. Management is also responsible for designing and implementing a system of internal rules to ensure that all transactions are recorded appropriately. They're responsible for the accuracy of the fiscal accounting records they provide us to audit. And they're also responsible for the compliance with laws, regulations, and things like that. And who's the manager? Management would be Steve and his staff. And with your oversight to whether or not. Audit approach, as I said before, an audit is a risk-based approach. come in and do our planning and make sure we gather a good understanding of how things run in the organization, how transactions are reported, approved, what type of transactions we have. That allows us to just assess what we think the major risks are, the highest risk for the material in the statement. And we design our audit to address those risks. As I mentioned before, we're responsible for determining whether the financial statements are fairly stated in material respects. Material is a word that we use quite often. I think most of us know what it means. Essentially, it means that if we have a misstatement or an omission from the financial statements, is that significant enough that it would impact the opinion of a reasonable financial user? If it is, and it's material, it's not, it's something we're going to pass on. Now, there's also qualitative and quantitative considerations. Something might be relatively small in amount, but would have an impact on the financial statements that would make it material from other standpoints. A total mistake is also the total mistake that we're willing to accept. And that's generally, easy to establish a quantitative level of materiality when we're doing our planning. Total mistake is below that threshold, and then up to that, we're willing to accept without modifying our opinion. We also like to remind you to point out that your financial statements do include estimates. As part of our audit, we look at those estimates to determine whether it's reasonable given the circumstances. And not every member of the financial statements can be accurate. So we'll look at those as well. Stephen also gives us an opportunity to ask you if you guys have any questions or concerns. You know, the control issues, fraud issues, any areas that you consider high risk. The opportunity to let us know if you have any of those types of issues. We do include our contact information on the back, so if there's something that you're concerned about, you can bring up in this situation, feel free to contact us. Anyone have any questions or concerns you'd like to let us know about?
Yeah, so what is the, are you looking at the tax sheet?
Yes. Year end December 31st,
And today's supplying you with all of our balance sheets and all that. And then what is your timeline? Raising concern.
I'll get that. You know. Okay. The current industry considerations, diving into the CRC, we call government and finance standards for the kind of requirements. And there are several new gadget pronouncements that are coming down. They're going to be effective in the next couple of years. We did kind of cut those back. All of those the organization this size, a lot of them are separate. But these are the core ones we noted that could potentially have an impact on your organization over the next couple of years. First one is GASB 87 leases. It's just a change in the way we account for leases. Traditionally, most leases nowadays are reported as an expenditure when they're paid. Going forward, you're going to have to require an asset for the right to use that. The leased equipment, and also liability for your payments to this item. Similar to what ASB's doing as well for for-profit and non-profit organizations. And that's effective for the organization starting 12 and 2020. I don't think it's a huge impact on the IBAs and any leases, but if we did, it's a significant change in accounting. So the more that you ASB 80 is certain disclosures related to debt. I think that's going to change. As part of cost building, going forward, they're going to have this expense base. I think it's more important so that it's a cost of borrowing during that period rather than cost of actually putting it on. That has changed, and that's effective their year ended 12/30/2020. The last one, conduit debt obligations. This one's been put in place. Consistent treatment of these type of liabilities. Our situations like when the IDA issues a loan to a third party, issues a non-taxable bond or a third party. It's really not a liability, it's that third party liability. Historically speaking, you shouldn't be reporting a liability for those unless you make some commitment to those debts or government amendments. Next one's our planning timetable, related to the audit. This is the audit. The reports to management, and present for the external schedule. Also the changes there. That's the target for the thing, try to complete this initiative. And the last page is just a professional service team. This is five individuals that are responsible for engagement. Our emails, our phone numbers as well. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to us. Someone will get back to you. Anyone have any questions?
Is this a recurring thing? You are switch next
I believe we have, I think you're in year 3.
You're in year 3.
But we did a 3-year family, so I think we have to go back out again. So,
Thank you, Mark. Motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
All in favor?
No.
yes, the same deal on the approval of the minutes. I don't believe we will ever have a forum on that, although actually, as I look at it now, I could potentially on the October meeting have a forum, but I know today. So if not, we will designate that both for the CRC, as I mentioned before, and for the IDA, and we'll have the names certify them as true. That will happen for the November meeting. We will never have a forum for that. So we'll never have the majority of the members that we have to vote on that one. So we'll certify those meeting minutes as after the deadline.
City station minute, updated project authorizing resolution.
So we'll just hand it right up to short Justin.
We're getting back exactly a year ago, the IDA board authorized for the city station road project, which most of you are familiar with, but not all of you. It's the last of 4 phases of the city station project being led by a group of companies, and also the largest phase of that project. It involves 80 or 90 apartments and I think around 40,000 square feet of commercial space being built out. At the time of the application, the applicant included the 40,000 square feet of spec space. Certainty on exactly who would be located into that space. Since that time, as the project's developed, they've established a more specific project entity. It's very similar to our city station 2 instead of city station 1. They've from an internal planning and business decision, they've elected to stack some of their own staff through an affiliate within the city station or currently located out in their headquarters in Jordan Road in North Greenbush. The facility is owned by a separate party and they be sold in the near term. So the relocation of that gain jobs within the city with it. Under the IDA statute, if you relocate any existing businesses from one area of the state to another area of the state, it's okay if you can make an assertion that it's reasonably necessary to maintain a competitive position in the industry. And within a recent addition to the IDA statute in the last 2 years, if you're undertaking an allowable relocation, you have to send a notification to the other community in which facility may be relocated from. And this could be from Niagara Falls to Suffolk County, it doesn't matter where. In this particular case, it happens to be one community over 5 miles down the road. So we asked the United Group folks to update their application. The project costs are essentially the same. The jobs now are more identifiable. The job numbers used to include just the maintenance staff associated with running that facility. now the jobs that are committed to the IDA will keep their captive staff of their affiliates. So we're showing 50 to 60 jobs instead of just more previously, which is a better identifiable, quantifiable metric with the IDA can do, which is good. We sent a letter to the supervisor, North Greenwood, about circumstances which we're required to do. They don't have any discretion to come over, we're just required to notify them about the shift. With the IDA application updated, the purpose of the resolution today is to simply accept the updated application, make the finding that the move is reasonably necessary, and move along. I've gotten an update from their council that they may look to close, if not by March 1st, within the next 60 or 90 days. So it's a good net positive for the IDA. It's a large project, it's a $41 million project, so that'll be a good project for this board. That's it. So it's just not resolution authorized, updating the prior authorizations.
Again, annual board member evaluation, distribution reforms.
Have those in your packets, so if you could complete them today and give them today, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
You can sign. Well, actually, the evaluations are independent. The board can be comfortable, right? One or more together.
So two of them done this today,
You're going to do
IDA,
IDA and CRC. One is you need to do an evaluation for each of the fiduciary. That's the one, right? For the
Fiduciary is for the specific.
for each one.
Yeah, I think we have to.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Executive deputy,
Yes, just a couple updates. We have a number of outstanding issue pilots that haven't closed yet. So just a couple updates is that the Fabio closed. And Riverwalk, 171 River Street, that one has a financing person actually coming as well. So outstanding, we have, in addition to City State North, which should be closing, there's still 669 River Street and Monterey Development, which is the St. Augustine project. So that's just update over there. Our wayfinding that was financed through, was promised to finance the implementation portion of that. We're in the design portion of right now. The first report is coming in, and that's a line of that is still moving forward. You have that recognized as, I gotta talk with Marielle to make sure this is recognized in financial statements as a table. And we are still moving forward on the South Florida Brownfield Opportunity Act, or opportunity grant area, working with partners on that one. So that's going to move forward as well. The Business Improvement District has their annual event in January, and we're going to have a sponsorship, which is $200. And then also the community development, council finance development agencies, which we are a member of, has occasional training as well, and there's some bond finance courses coming up, and I'm going to authorize just for it to take one, which is $550. That's all I have right now for executive director.
Is there something
On the Bill's site? Well, yes, there is, only in the fact that the cleanup that the CRC and the IDA get funding for is complete. So it's closed out. We're waiting to get the drawdown from the National Grid, but we have been speaking with them on their piece of the remediation, which is next, and they're trying to get in there at the end of this year to start phase one. What is it, 3 or 4 phase cleanup? 3 phases are on the site. One is the first 2 phases are east of the road there, in the southern part, the second one being the northern part, and then the third phase would be north of the ELOT building. And the 4th phase, which we're really just starting to work on, is a river remediation, which is a large area that spans well beyond the but I think this gets us this and the conditions, we get start having a site that the LDC can market. Yeah. But I'll have to do the report.
First report is the statement of net position. At 12/31, our total assets stand at 686,000, with 471,000 in cash. The liabilities stand at 3,500, leaving us with a fund balance of 683,000. There were no major changes on the statement of debt position. The next report is the statement of activity. For the month of December, we have 44,000 in revenue. Sources of revenue for the month of December were 43,750 in admin fees from 433 River and interest income. During December, our expenses were 88,000. The largest expense for the month of December was the fee share with the LDC for $70,000. Aside from that, there were no ordinary expenses. For the month of December, we have a $44,000 deficit due to mainly the $70,000 fee share. The unaudited results for the year are $293,000 in revenue, of which $275,000 was in project-related revenue, versus $281,000 in expenses, leaving us with $280,000 deficit for the year. Any questions?
Motion. Second. David? Any business?
We don't believe I have old business or any new business.
Motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor? Aye.